Hello, Virgo. I'm going to be brutally honest. This is marketing garbage. There's no mystical algorithm that shows wealth manifestation content only to future millionaires. This isn't a sign. It's targeted advertising exploiting your desire for financial security. If you want to build real wealth, you need strategy, discipline, and sustained effort, not magical thinking disguised as spiritual guidance. So let's talk about what actually creates financial success versus what keeps you stuck in fantasy while your bank account stays empty. Wealth doesn't care about your viewing habits. It doesn't track which videos you watch. It doesn't select future millionaires through algorithmic sorting. It doesn't reward people who believe hard enough in their financial destiny. Wealth gets built through boring, unsexy actions repeated over long periods, through living below your means, through developing marketable skills, through creating value people will pay for, through investing consistently even when returns aren't immediate, not through clicking on content that promises you're special because you happen to see it on a particular date. So if you're here because you think watching this video means you're destined for wealth, if you're interpreting your viewing as cosmic sign about your financial future, you're being manipulated. And that manipulation is keeping you from doing the actual work that builds wealth. How much time have you spent consuming content about wealth versus actually building it? Calculate honestly, because here's what only future millionaires framing does. It creates false sense of exclusivity, makes you feel selected, makes you believe you're part of special group that's been identified for success. And that feeling, it's intoxicating. It bypasses your critical thinking. It makes you more receptive to whatever advice or product or mindset the content is selling, because you've already been primed to believe you're special, but you're not special for watching this. Everyone who clicked on compelling title and thumbnail is watching this. The algorithm shows it to people based on their viewing history and engagement patterns, not based on their future net worth. So the sign you're interpreting isn't cosmic, it's technological. It's just YouTube or whatever platform doing what it's designed to do, showing you content that matches your interests and keeps you engaged. Can you distinguish between algorithmic targeting and spiritual significance? Develop that discernment if you haven't already, because I need to address the April 15 specificity. There's nothing special about April 15 or whatever specific date gets inserted into these titles. The date changes constantly to create urgency and the illusion of timeliness. It's manufactured scarcity. It's designed to make you act now, watch now, believe now, before the magical window closes. But there is no window. The advice or information or mindset being offered isn't time sensitive. It's available before April 15 and after April 15 and has nothing to do with the calendar at all. So if you're watching this because you thought the date mattered, if you've been waiting for this specific day because you believed it was significant, you've been played. And that same susceptibility to time-based manipulation is probably keeping you from building actual wealth. Because wealth gets built through long-term thinking, not through reacting to arbitrary deadlines. Have you been making financial decisions based on artificial urgency? Examine whether scarcity tactics have been influencing your choices. Because here's what actually predicts who becomes millionaire: not what content they consume, not what they believe about themselves, not whether they think they're chosen for wealth, but whether they consistently spend less than they earn, whether they invest the difference, whether they develop skills that command high income, whether they create businesses or assets that generate passive income, whether they make decisions from long-term strategy instead of short-term gratification. Those behaviors, boring, unsexy, requiring discipline and delayed gratification. Those are what separate people who build wealth from people who just fantasize about it. So if you want to be future millionaire, if you actually want to build significant wealth, stop watching videos that promise you're special. Start doing the math on your income and expenses. Start learning about investing. Start developing valuable skills. Start building or creating something that produces income beyond trading your time for money. That's the real work, not clicking on the right video at the right time. Which are you actually doing, consuming content or building wealth? Be honest about where your energy is going, because I want to talk about what wealth building actually looks like. It's not manifesting. It's not vision boards. It's not believing hard enough in your millionaire destiny. It's understanding compound interest and letting it work over decades. It's choosing career based on earning potential, not just passion. It's living in a smaller house than you can afford so you can invest the difference. It's starting business and working 8 0-hour weeks for years before seeing profit. It's developing rare skills that command premium prices. It's sacrificing now for later. It's choosing differently than most people choose. It's tolerating discomfort that most people avoid. And here's the thing about that path: it's not glamorous. It's not content friendly. It doesn't make for compelling videos with millions of views. So most financial content doesn't talk about it honestly. Most content sells fantasy that you can think your way to wealth, manifest abundance, align with prosperity consciousness, and watch money flow to you, because fantasy is easier to sell than discipline. Hope is more marketable than sacrifice. But fantasy doesn't build bank accounts. Only actual strategy executed over time does that. Are you pursuing real strategy or consuming comforting fantasy? Distinguish between the two. Because here's what happens when you believe content like this: you waste time you could be spending developing skills, building business, investing, networking with people who have what you want. You develop false confidence. You start believing you're on path to wealth without actually doing things that create wealth. That gap between belief and reality, it's where disillusionment lives. You make poor decisions. You spend money on courses or coaching or manifestation programs that promise to unlock your millionaire potential. Money that could have been invested or used to develop actual skills gets funneled into someone else's business model. You stay stuck because as long as you believe you're special, chosen, destined for wealth, you don't have to face the uncomfortable reality that wealth requires work you might not want to do or sacrifices you might not want to make. How much has this kind of thinking already cost you? Calculate financial impact of magical thinking versus strategic action. Because I also need to address the people who are building wealth. They're not watching content about being future millionaires. They're consuming content about tax strategy, investment vehicles, market analysis, business scaling, skill development. They're not looking for signs. They're special. They're looking for information that helps them make better financial decisions. They're not waiting for cosmic confirmation. They're executing on plans they've already built. So if you're genuinely committed to building wealth, if you actually want to become millionaire, change what you're consuming. Stop clicking on content that promises you're chosen. Start consuming content that teaches you how to actually build what you're claiming you want. Follow people who've built real businesses. Study actual investment strategies. Learn from people who made money through concrete actions, not through believing hard enough. That's how you become the person who builds wealth instead of the person who just fantasizes about it. What are you actually consuming and learning versus what are you just hoping will magically work? Audit your inputs, honestly. Because ultimately, here's the truth. You're not future millionaire because you watched this video. You're not special because you clicked on particular piece of content on particular date. You might become millionaire, but that happens through choices you make consistently over years or decades. Through discipline most people can't maintain. Through sacrifices most people won't make. Through delayed gratification most people can't tolerate. It happens through math, through compound interest, through value creation, through market understanding, through skill development, not through signs, not through cosmic selection, not through manifestation. So if you want wealth, stop looking for confirmation. You're chosen for it. Start doing the actual work that creates it. And that work, it's available to anyone willing to do it. It's not reserved for special people. It's not distributed through mystical sorting. It's just math plus discipline plus time. Anyone can do it. Most people won't, because most people prefer comforting fantasy to uncomfortable reality. Which group are you in? Your bank account will tell you the truth even when you're lying to yourself. So make the choice. Really make it, not in your head, in your actions. Stop consuming content about being future millionaire. Start executing strategy that builds actual wealth. Or don't. Keep watching videos that make you feel special while your financial situation stays exactly the same. But don't lie to yourself about which path you're on. The universe doesn't care. The algorithm doesn't care. Money doesn't care. Only you can care enough to actually do something about it. Will you? Future millionaires don't watch videos looking for signs. They're too busy building the wealth they already know is their responsibility to create.